Welcome to another episode of Behind the Seams. I'm your host, Michelle Washington, and by now you've seen our televised episode of the season 2 finale filmed in front of a live audience. This is going to be our uncut version where we had our live audience Q&A with our panelists. So sit back, relax, and just know that the fashion revolution is being televised.
Yes.
I've seen some of you empty your bottles of water at this point, just thirsty with the questions and answers. Let's open it up. Is there anyone out there that would like to ask the panel a question? Go for it.
I have a question for the finance people.
Be loud.
I have a question for the finance people.
Stand up, stand up.
I'll stand up. I'll shout. I'll dance. Finance people, we've been speaking about small business. I wonder if you have different partitions for various revenues. Because as I understand it, a small business can be anything from a nano business with $20,000 and a 500 employee, 200 million is still considered small business for revenues. That is a ferocious discrepancy. Is there anything implemented to help the growth in systemic sequences, or is it just, for want of a better fashion thing, one size fits all? Thank you.
It's there are things there that help with breaking it apart by the different business levels. So you have nano, micro, small, middle market, commercial, and you have different products and services for each business because they have different needs. So, one thing that I might give to my small business, my larger businesses that are doing millions in revenue, they're not going to need a lot of times the same products. So there are different things. It's just about looking at where you currently are and where you're wanting to go and seeing what fits at that time.
And you can help facilitate that for people that come to see you, is that correct? Or do they have to do that preceding visiting with their business plan?
No, a lot of times I'll be kind of the first step. So even when somebody's looking to get their state documents or their EIN, they'll come to me and sit down and say, what do you need? What do I need to do? This is what I want to do. Help me get there. I help businesses at any stage to try and get to where they want to be. So if you don't have anything planned out and you're like, I don't know what to do, we can sit down and have a conversation and figure it out from there. Or if you've been in business for 5, 10, 15 years and you're like, look, I'm wanting to now start manufacturing, help me get capital for that. And we can evaluate what your business has been doing and go from there.
So do you also work with SBA?
I do. Broadway is an SBA preferred lender. SBA can be sometimes more difficult to get lending than even traditional because they require a lot. They're going to require that 20-page business plan. They're going to require a resume that says why are we going to lend money to you? What makes you unique? And they're going to want to see that you've been putting your own capital into it. One of the things that I tell my clients is, remember, the SBA is money from the government. It's never been easy to get money from the government. So just thinking of it that way, and I'm there to help my clients get to that next step if SBA is what fits them.
Before you go to her, have anybody out there heard of Kiva? Kiva? Anybody? Microloans, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what we really need here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gentlemen?
Yes, Rebecca.
You had mentioned that we basically lost the trades in our country, which we have, and that's not just sewing, but it's plumbing, it's electrical, it's carpentry. And I'm just wondering, in order for, I love to talk about having a community of various that being so far away in most of Asia, how do we get that back here?
Well, we'll never get silk back here, and cashmere will always be probably out of China or those areas. It's going to be very difficult. That was a question for you. I'm sorry.
no, that's okay.
But it's right now what we're using is we're using my company. We're using hemp, and I have 20 fabrics in hemp that I've developed. Hemp denim. We've got 3 different types of denim that we've dealt. We've got recycled cotton in denim. We've got blends of hemp with other products like Tencel. We've got already those products made up that we can be able to supply our design team. Those are 50% of our business in the fashion industry is denim.
One thing. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, but then the other side of it is when you look at I look at it from a production cycle. We look at it from the outside in. We're not looking at how cute it is, how pretty it is. Oh, I made a great design. When I see a great design and somebody wants to make it, it's usually limited as to what it requires to make that, right?
Yeah.
And as far as the amount of units that it takes somebody to train to make that, we're looking at how to create a business where you have a turn of revenue, build your business. The fashion part of our industry, the way we look at it, is that's the fringe. It's like 20%. The bulk of it comes from the middle. Your denim, your tops sells 5 times more than your bottoms, but because the cost is so low, your volume comes out of the bottoms. So we look at a lot of things like that versus just fashion. And so what you're looking at now is that we're reshoring with hemp. We're also bringing in cactus leather. We're looking at everything that's going to be biodegradable and circular because we have to become sustainable. Right now, the biggest problem we have in the U.S. is water.
Let me ask you, Sam. Have you been able to take a tour of Stitch, Texas?
Yeah, and we work
Sam
together.
and I have gone.
Okay.
We've gone way back.
We go way back. She's done tech packs for us, and we did a boot. Her and I did a boot that it was for hunters. Went to Bass Pro. It was a boot with a heating element. She did.
Yeah, very cool.
I had these 2 guys had no idea. I said, "Go, Rebecca, let her help you out." She did the tech pack for them. I sent the tech pack to Taiwan. They did the prototype for us, and then that boot ended up in Bass Pro. That's how we work together. And we have to work together and organize and quit working against each other. Everybody has an idea. That's great. Let us help you put that idea into works and let it make money for you so you can finance your business and go to this lady and put money in her bank instead of coming to her. Because if you got money in her bank, she'll give you money all day long.
So I think what Sam is talking about, your question was, how do we bring it all here? And what Sam said is, you can't.
No.
We just can't. Like, we have outsourced pretty much every level of the fashion industry. There are still some pattern makers here. Charlotte, who asked the first question, I worked with her in the past. Great pattern maker. I'm a pattern maker. Like, we have technicians in this industry, and
A lot of them here.
and the point of that is there are some elements of this industry that are still here, but material milling, I don't see that coming back. There are some mills still located, I believe, in North Carolina. That's like pretty much the extent of it. And you're right, we're not going to be able to replace silk with hemp. But if anybody remembers from history class, the reason why we have nylon and polyester is because we actually used silks in parachutes, right? So we as an industry had to come up with a silk alternative, and thus nylons were born. And that is how women wore stockings. So I think we as a community can get creative about what material we want to use. I've always been a big proponent of hemp, mostly for water reasons. But it's just amazing. Like, if you take it outside of the textile industry, there's something called hempcrete. I won't even go on my platform about how much I love hemp, but it's amazing. It's another alternative building material.
We also have 2 patents on degumming hemp so that we could make it softer and silkier. Just so you'll know that we can degum it, but it will never be silk because, your silkworms are in China. We'll never have a silk production here. So there's just certain things, as Rebecca said, that we won't do. But the key is that we have to look at how to took Rebecca, her group. Everybody here has to start working together and organize. We need to put together a group that has a board like you have, build out a complete organization so that we can all start building something instead of working in so many different directions. I'll share this with you guys. Right now, I just got a letter this morning from Europe, And one of the groups I work with over there, we do all of the development for new companies. They come to us and they pitch, and we finance them. We have all kinds of investment people. I just got the rights for that to be the distributor here in the U.S. So that'll be right here in Austin. We have so many things that are global that we're bringing in here, but we have to build the organization up so you guys can become a part of the things that we're bringing in. And the only way that you're going to take and be able to work with some of those things is to have a group. And once your group comes together, then you'll be able to demand stuff from the city. They've got money out there. They give all the grants that will take care of your small business, but you got to organize.
Rebecca?
So if you want to work in completely vertically here locally, if that is your goal, that's the mission of your company, then you need to reprioritize the materials you're willing to use.
Yep.
I think is the long answer to the end of all of this is if you really want to work with silk, then you are committed to working where silk is located. If you really want to work with cashmere and your wools, then you're either going to be in Italy, which is where a lot of that is, or you're going to be in China, where almost all material production is. I'll give you a really small, short example. So I have a client that really wanted cactus leather, and it is right now, I believe, I can't remember the name of the company, Deserto. Deserto is the name of the company that has really patented that technology, and they are based in Mexico. And we went around and around and around about how to make this bag, because the only place to get this cactus leather right now is in Mexico. And so we were playing with importing the cactus leather into the US. And we were also looking at importing that cactus leather to China, because China has the technology to build the product that she wants. Mexico has the technology of the material that she wants. And then in the US, we don't actually have the technology that China has. We would have done a more roundabout option, but it meant that she wouldn't have to pay for shipping and different tariffs once the item was created. She would still have tariffs for the raw materials. And to be honest, this is a bag. And so the other elements of this item also had to be imported. So you have to really think holistically about what you're trying to produce to fit your goals. And if your goals don't align with the end product, then you need to reevaluate your goals or reevaluate the different elements of the item. So I think the real jewel, the real takeaway here is to be creative and be flexible about what you want so that you can get what you want, and listen to those that have the knowledge, and don't be afraid to ask questions. Anybody who's not giving you a straight answer, run away. That is not the person you want to align with. You want to align with somebody that's willing to talk you through an item or a potential procedure and show you options. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with getting a second opinion. I mean, if you're in the banking industry, you get multiple quotes for loans. If you're a pattern maker and your pattern maker says this, go talk to another pattern maker. If you like it better, go with them. I am not the person to tell you that Stitch Texas, we know everything about everything. We know a lot. I'll be honest. We know quite a lot because we've done a lot. But if you find somebody else who says, actually, I want to do it this way, and that feels good and right to you, go forth, beyond. It's not going to offend me. I want you to get the most out of what you can, and that is going to require you to talk to people and trust your gut, but also just be open to things. You can't be so stagnant and expect that everything's going to go according to plan. It never does.
Okay, that's one of our partners, is the company in Mexico with the cactus leather. We have complete products that we've developed on that. So if you need any of that, we have it. But the point that I want to make about the fabrics, again, that she's making, I'm telling you, we have 20 fabrics that we've developed in hemp, and they're all patented, and there's 2 patents on them. They're degummed, new fabrics nobody's ever seen before. How do you take your creative skills and use the resources that Rebecca's talking about and become creative with the resources that are there? Because if you don't, it's going to be minimum yardage to get silk from China. And what's the hardest fabric to sew here in the U.S.? Silk. It moves too much on the machines. So it's very difficult, and the Chinese do it in their sleep. I've seen beaters over in China hand beating things that you couldn't even keep up with their hands. They were moving so fast. I've seen a guy ironing seams in in a pair of jeans, he could whip a pair of jeans and flip them inside out, and you couldn't even see the guy. They call them Speedy Gonzales. They work so different over there. So what we have to do is upskill our products, create niche markets that create demands, because you can't compete against those guys. Not that we want to compete against them. Why? We don't want to go backwards. We want to go forward. We want to create products that are going to have a demand. And if there's no demand, there's no value.
Both of you have a great point on the hemp. It must be something to it since you both are
we're both-
invested in the.
What?
Are there any more? Okay, up front. But before you begin, another one of our sponsors, SEAMS. This is Blake.
I want to speak on the fabric. So my name is Blake, and I run a fabric startup called SEAMS. And since Joanne closed, my goal is to fill that gap. So this is like my realm right here. So it's cool to talk about hemp and all these different products, but if someone doesn't know where to buy it or they can't go to the local store, it's not going to help them. So I would love to network with everybody after this because that is my passion and my goal is to help the small creator just get the fabric. They can go in their garage, they can make the thing.
Okay, and you need to talk to me because we have a platform. It's called Marketplace. And you would be a part of that marketplace. And as people are designing those fabrics, we have AI that goes out and find the fabrics for them and connect you with those people that are designing with those goods. We built out a platform from the raw materials all the way called Marketplace, which we have an ERP, CRM, PLM system, which manages everything in one system that connects you into a social group that you can communicate with everybody within that group. Then we have all kinds of AI tools that we built in. And I've been working with AI for the last 10 years. It's not something new to us. And I know the potential of it. I also know the downsides of it. And if you don't train AI correctly, you're going to get a lot of issues out of it. So right now, I have all those products developed, 5 enterprise platforms that takes a new designer. But we focus mainly on utilitarian products because we know that the market is moving away from a quantity of life to a quality of life. Right now, the trend, the biggest thing that's replacing the Rolex and the Rolls Royce is a Jeep and a Yeti bag. People want to show they have a quality of life, not a quantity of life.
And those are great fabrics. They make them out of really plush fabrics. I think all you
They're made right here in Austin.
Well, all you fabric people need to get together with Blake. So
No, that's what I'm saying.
Another part which she brought up earlier was the marketing aspect of all of this. Like that's something that a lot of creatives and people in the fabric and fashion industry lack, that marketing skill, which is something I hope to bring to the table as well.
So are you doing printing also?
Not yet. I've got people who are wanting me to do printing, and right now I'm just focused on all the excess inventory that already exists in America, especially due to Joanne. Like if you work with fabric, you know that it's a 3 to 9 month cycle on fabric. So Joanne was ordering fabric up until the very last second that they closed, and they burned a lot of bridges. But regardless of that, there are warehouses all over America full of fabric, top to bottom, full of fabric, and people just don't know how to access that fabric.
Are you getting dead stock? Is that?
A lot of dead stock, and what you would consider dead stock or not, it's still in plastic. It's just there. We don't really need to bring fabric in from other countries because it's already here, and there are a lot of printing presses already here. The mills is a little difficult, but it's already here. There's just nobody who's trying to help people get access to that fabric.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people looking for dead stock. I mean, in our community, we hear it all the time because not only is it a more sustainable option, but you can also, going back to marketing, use that as a marketing angle to say, there's only so much of this fabric, so I can only make 20 of these pieces, and that creates, you are making it sustainably, but you're also able to use the marketing angle of limited edition, and it's true, you're not greenwashing. So I think there are so many people looking for dead stock. I think it's incredible.
There is a problem, though, dealing with dead stock. If you do use dead stock, you know what I'm talking about, Rebecca. If you use dead stock, which is great for starting up and with low units of production, but if you get a hit and you got to you can't do it. And that's the only downside that I want to bring up, because all of a sudden you get hot and one of the big guys come to you and you need a few thousand units and you can't get replace that fabric, then you've just lost an order. And I've seen a lot of companies get there. But as far as a new guy starting up, dead stock is an excellent place to start.
Actually, the challenge that I thought you were going to say is that if you develop something with a stretch and you get a different stretch, then you have to change your shape. So that's the biggest problem that I see with
That's the
dead
production
stock.
end of it, you know.
Is yes, I love the option that you blow up and now somebody wants to reorder it and you're SOL. Honestly, I think that's even better because it creates more rarity in your product and it increases the value of you as a designer and your products in general. But from a functional standpoint, every rib, which is a type of knit, is going to stretch a little bit differently. And that's going to depend on the knit itself, like the weave within it, and the content of it. So if you're working in dead stock, then you're potentially having to create a new silhouette every time you change your fabrics, which again, very cool, but it's more of an expense from the business end of having to do that. So that's my only concern, honestly. I love the rarity aspect of it. My question to you, although maybe you have a follow-up point, but my question to you is, how are you showing people these fabrics? Like you're saying that the store is no longer there, and we have warehouses full of them. So what's your deal? Do you have headers? Do you ship in headers? Do you ship in rolls? Like, how are you doing it?
All right, so that's complicated. We'll keep it short. So,
Fair.
yeah, one technical aspect that Michelle and I have talked at ample about is, from a technical standpoint, fabric gets put on a giant roll. And then it used to be that roll would get shipped to America and the manufacturer locally would then put that on a bolt, meaning they fold it over, they wrap it around a piece of cardboard. Now, due to labor costs, that happens overseas. So a lot of fabric now comes in from overseas already wrapped on the bolt, but for a lot of fashion, that doesn't really work so well. So there's technical challenges around that, again, which is the gap that I'm trying to eventually figure out. Then as far as working with manufacturers, so Joanne left, like I said, a bunch of fabric behind. The suppliers have been holding on to that. If you don't really know the supply chain, there's a manufacturer overseas that works with a manufacturer in America. The manufacturer in America designs the fabric, orders it from overseas. It comes to the manufacturer, goes from them to a distributor. From the distributor, wholesales it to the retail shop, from the retail shop to the consumer. That's generally the way that it works. So a lot of companies now, like with other industries, are trying to bridge the gap of going directly from the manufacturer directly to the consumer. Michaels, who has opened their online platform to third parties, is now working directly with the manufacturers to help them supply it directly to the customer. So to answer your question, I use marketing on the internet to, get this in front of the people that need it. Since Joanne closed, my customer went from the hobbyist to the person who resells, the person who makes the actual product out of the fabric, and then they sell it on whatever platform. Before I stood up here to give my little rants, I was going to ask a question about 20 years ago, you were a small designer or a big designer, your goal was to get your fashion into Saks Fifth Avenue, or into Macy's, or into Sears. So now where are you trying to get your product into?
Straight to the consumer.
Right.
I was going to say, I really feel like straight to the consumer is just better. I mean, you can obviously do B2B as well and have your margins set for that. But I do think that right now, the way that these retailers are treating their partners, a lot of people don't want to work with them anymore. They're going out of business, they're not paying their invoices, and a lot of people would just prefer to have that direct relationship with the consumer. They have full control over every aspect of that, and you make bigger margins, so people prefer to just sell directly to the consumer.
Okay, I'll share something. We are building the second Rent the Runway type store here in Austin. The first one will be built in Beverly Hills in the Beverly Center. And the local designers will be able to rent their products in the store and get royalties off of their rentals. And we're building that store out next year. It's already in the plans. We've also tied in 3 different entities that I talked about: government, private industry, education. So that's all going to be set up. So we have a retail store that's going to be here in Austin, Texas. The first one is going to be in the Beverly Center in LA.
What I'm hearing is we already have the ecosystem on this stage. We have the network here, we have the database here, and if we can have a way where digitally we can have every designer, every pattern maker, every a fabric distributor actually in this network, then then we can start moving and not just be throwing around stuff. We have everything we need already here. We got to start actually just sharing with each other, not with an asterisk, not, well, if you did this, then we're going to let you in the door. Get rid of that, because again, to have a full ecosystem here that's going to thrive like New York, everybody's got to be included, everybody's got to know, and we got to start yesterday.
Clever, you forgot
gate
one.
breaking.
Thank you.
You forgot one. We have the network. We had name them
And
off
the bank.
again. The bank. Yes. We have the apparel development. We have the
Fabric.
fashion technology. We have the fashion organization. You forgot media. I'm right here.
Right there. Yeah. That's true. That's
We're
true.
not selling anything
That's true.
without you.
Brought all this together.
Exactly.
The organizer.
That's true. And we can hit a national audience.
International.
International audience.
We could hit the
with
world.
people like you. Like, imagine a show that could be on Austin Public, for example, and it's highlighting a Corpus Christi designer that's taken discarded fishing nets and turned into couture design. You know, we could really like rival a Project Runway. You know, we could or take a Fort Worth stylist that's deciding she wants to mix rodeo tradition with like streetwear couture. You know, we have a culture here. We have a totally different interpretation of what our fashion can be. We just gotta be connected and don't let anybody out. Like they said, that he used to say, don't leave nobody behind. No child left behind. You know.
Clever, I'm trying. Get me my season 3.
I got you. Yes.
One more question, if you will. Okay, so this was wonderful. I love all of this. As an outsider, what's the big picture? Does anyone have like the dream, the final vision? What do you want Austin to be as far as the fashion industry goes?
Austin should be the slow fashion capital of the world. We're already the music capital. We have so much culture here. We have so much soul, like you were saying. People don't care to gatekeep everything. People are very interested in sharing and collaborating here. It's just a much different culture than in New York. Everyone's so busy. They're like, you know, you're going to be a small fish in New York, but here you can really stand out. So, I mean, there's so much opportunity here and so much amazing, amazing culture.
All right, everyone. Are there any more?
Yeah,
Okay,
just one more
gentleman,
thing
right
that-
there.
I'll caveat this that I could talk to you about tokenization for 10 straight hours. I come from an AI background, and I'm the least knowledgeable person about fashion in here.
Okay.
I love to learn from other people's mistakes. My question is, what should new creators and designers be shooting for as far as milestones? What are they missing?
You want me to answer that? I'll be more than happy to. Right now, what we're missing as a group is organization and also education. All the things that I'm talking about today, like he understands, it's not about what's going to happen. It's already here. And if you don't understand how to fit into the situation, then you're not going to be a part of it. And it's up to you to make that choice right now. We have a chance to organize, which you've given us an opportunity to come here and put a lot of different people, from production to new person creating a community. We have to be able to work together. My goal, I don't have anything to gain from here except for seeing these young kids have opportunity here in Austin to become a part of something that's going to give them opportunities. That's all I'm concerned about. Where I'm at with our technology and the people that I deal with every day, it's a whole different world. I want Austin to be what it should be, which it already is. My goal is to bridge the technology with the fashion. Right now, what we focus in on nanobiotech products. We did a motorcycle jacket with LED on the back, Bluetooth in the shoulders. It vibrates to tell you which direction to go. It's got a fabric that changes temperature inside. That's the kind of technology. We just did a product for NASA, and it's a carbon fiber. They're using it in the uniforms, all the spacesuits now. It takes the heat off your body. The carbon fiber does, takes the heat off your body, turns into far infrared, reduces your cortisol, increases your nitric oxide. Those are the kind of things that we're working on right now for fashion. But as far as the industry goes, there's a complete dysfunctional part of it where there's no communication and no organization. That's the only thing that I see that we can do to change our industry. And once we do that, Austin will blow off the map because we're already ahead of it. We've got more creative people here in Austin than anywhere else in the world.
You asked like what you can do right now. I believe in everything Sam just said. Separately, I think that I work with a lot of new designers as well. It sounds like Sam is also working with a lot of like inventors. I'm sorry, I work with new designers, but I mean, I also work with inventors. And to me, I love fashion. That's why I'm in this industry. But actually, I really like working with inventors the most, because you challenge me to think about a product more than just like, oh, this pretty thing. Like, I know what a sleeve looks like. I know what a trouser looks like. But what I really like is working with a doctor who's a scoliosis professional and wants to build a spine cage. Like, that's what I am really into. So I would say if that is the person that you are, that you're looking at textiles for a body, or to work with the body, to integrate with the body or integrate with hardware, not just a really beautifully designed thing. And the reason why I'm stating this caveat is because there are other professionals like myself who work on traditional apparel. And I think that that is a much easier kind of bridge to gap, to find the professional to help you. But if you're an inventor, an innovator, that's a much harder bridge to gap. And so what I've seen be successful is people who kind of like hodgepodge Frankenstein things together to prove their concept, and they get as far as they can go. Most people are not getting very far if they are what I am describing, because that requires industrial equipment and a really like thorough understanding of the body and how materials work together. So get as far as you can go with that, and then come to me, come to Stitch Texas. And I don't mean to plug my own company. That's not the point. The reason why I recommend Stitch is because I know of other development houses out there, but I don't know any other development house that's gonna work with a new inventor on this conceptual project, because they do not have the mental bandwidth within their workings, within their organization, to cater to what you need. And that is where Stitch Texas is really, I would say that's like our bread and butter, and what sets us apart is that we build in the bandwidth to really explore weird projects and help you take it to that next prototype phase. And then we also have our overseas teams, because as I mentioned before, we in the US just lack the technology to build that, but our overseas teams have that technology. So once we work out like more of the kinks here domestically, one-on-one, and I think that that's really important, the one-on-one, that face-to-face, there is an amount of information that my clients give to me when I see them and speak to them in person that is nonverbal. They're saying things to me with what they want that they can't actually articulate in words. And so having that face-to-face is really important for understanding their idea. And then when we're building it and fitting it and talking in that way, there are other things that come out that in-person is so crucial. And then we get to a good enough place domestically that then we build a technical document or a tech pack along with the prototypes that we build, and then we send it to our teams that have the technology to quite literally build what you want. A small example of that, I have a client, his company's name is Kehanu. He's a doctor. He's a doctor that is a really sad, beautiful story. He worked with a lot of drowning children. And so he created a product that was an inflatable rash guard. And we didn't have the technology in Austin to bond material, but with our overseas team, we actually created an inflatable bladder in every rash guard for different sizes. We went from kids to women's to men's. And now he has this product, and he actually developed the one-way air valve that we bonded to the bladder material. It had to be waterproof. It had to be seamless so that obviously no water could get in. And we took his expertise as a doctor that deals with drowning victims. And also he's a surfer, so he is familiar with that. We took his expertise, we took my expertise, and we took our team's expertise to build this final product that I'm quite proud to be a part of. So if you're an inventor like that, you want to work with goods that work around the body, but you have this hardware that you need to incorporate and this idea, but not the technology to do it. Get as far as you can. Come to me. We'll get as far as we can together, and then we'll take it and we'll actually get it made. That was super long-winded, but I hope that answered your question.
It was. It answered all the things at once. So good job. Good job. I think we're going to reach our. We'll take one more question and then we'll wrap it up. A question in the back.
I'm still in high school, so the idea of like becoming a designer seems like a big jump. And I know you guys talked about like how there used to be like Saxfist and you would aim to get your designs into there. But if now the goal is to get directly to the consumer, it kind of feels like there's so much more responsibility on the designer to know marketing and production and do all that themselves. So how would someone just starting out be able to do all that infrastructure themselves since there's no longer like a store as a goal to kind of get into?
What I see, what we're planning, I should say, is tokenization. When you do a design, we'll be able to use our technology to create royalties for you. Remember when your mother used to go get a pattern and bring it home and make something out of that pattern?
McCall's patterns. Yeah.
So now
Or
you can do that.
simplicity.
Now you can do that digitally, and you, as a designer, will get royalties every time someone on demand uses your pattern. That's the future of what's coming. Everything's going to on demand. We're going to move completely away from the mass production. As far as mass production, what you're talking about, it's going to be an upscale there. We're going to have to create higher value products to be able to be a part of the market, because we cannot compete with these other countries that are creating these fast fashion type products. But they're going to get hurt down the road because the laws have changed. California and Europe says if you can't show the life cycle of a product, you can't ship it into those two places. California's already put that law in, and Europe has put it in. It's going to spread throughout the United States. So you're going to have to start showing that life cycle of the product. Also, you're looking at the circular economy is going to be a major part of our fashion industry. And we got, like, you're doing the recycling, you should be getting carbon credits for recycling. That's the way we're looking at things now. So it's a whole new game as far as with the ecosystem and the environment, that we have to work harmony. Our industry is the second largest polluter in the world. We're tied we're right behind the petrochemical industry, and we're tied it to the hip with the petrochemical industry. 80% of all the products that we make in the fashion industry end up in a landfill. What you're seeing right now in the market, resale shops, you go into a resale shop, Goodwill, any of the resale shops, they're packed with people. Everybody has now gone to peace, love, and happiness. They're going back to the 70s again. They're creating their own look and their own fashion by putting things together. So you're seeing a whole new trend come in the marketplace. How do you take advantage of that trend as a designer? I see people right now that are taking products and creating couture type products out of old products. They're tying those pieces together. And I've got 4 designers that I'm working with right now. They're making a fortune by just taking stuff from resale shops and redoing them. Either creating this, there's a group, a technology out of Japan called Sahara Bora. Anybody familiar with it? Okay, that product is what we're focusing in on developing here in Austin. We're going to take in jeans, like in the essence, these old ladies sitting in the centers. You know how much sewing skills those ladies have? And if you gave them some jeans and said, okay, here's what I want you to do, they can create that, like those patchwork blankets that they make there. So you're giving those guys, they're going to need income. With the way things are going right now, we've got to come up with an income to help our older people also.
Yeah, so from some your age and just starting out, collaborate as much as possible. Network with any and every creative out there that you can. You know, go across state lines. Just don't stay here in Austin. You know, the more that you can pour into somebody else's dream, that energy is going to come back, and people are going to start to pour into your dream as well.
What was your question?
I'd like to answer her question. It's hard, but use social media.
That's what I was going to say.
Use social media. Like, do not be embarrassed. Don't focus on the people in your neighborhood. Focus on the world.
The world.
Right now, as he had said, we're in a paradigm shift, and that shift is using social media. Don't care what anybody thinks about you, what anyone has to say about you. If you're passionate about what you do, just put it on social media every day. Put a video out every day. It doesn't have to be perfect. No one wants anything perfect. Just be you. I promise you it's going to work. Promise.
I would definitely say use social media like Instagram, TikTok. I'm not on TikTok, but they say it's great. Use it, but also develop a thick skin because people are mean. People are mean, but unfortunately, that's like the way of the world is getting your stuff out there on social.
Okay,
And-
I'll check. Go ahead.
And, you know, you being so young, kudos to you to coming to things like this. Continue to do that. Continue to educate yourself and to really like grab the bull by the horns and seeing how this ecosystem works from the banking to the manufacturing to the designing and the community that's there. They're all there to support you. But I would say continue education because the dream is to live successfully off of what you want to do with your life. So with that, the education of finance, because it's not taught in schools anymore, unfortunately. So go to the incubators, but go to the classes on how to create your businesses, how to find financing, how to find investors, to be the rungs in your ladder. So take full, what is it?
Authority?
Ownership. Yep.
Hey.
Of your journey and everything that's out there, all the resources for you.
I think with that, this is a fantastic place to stop. We have covered a lot of points, and this has been a plethora, just gems dropping all over the place. So thank you, panel. Thank you so much. Thank you, audience, for being here. On that journey, on your way to the top, it can be hard, but just remember that it was worth every stitch. And as I like to say, a smile is always in style. Keep it fashionable.